Great.
All right, now.
All right. Well, I missed your name, so
I'm Antonia.
Antonia. Okay. Thank you. But I've been a writer. I moved into Aiken 73 years ago, and I lived a quarter of a mile over there when we moved in. So I was 1 year old, and since then I've gotten to know the entire town. So for 40 years I was either a reporter for the Augusta Chronicle covering Aiken, or I was a freelance writer writing for things such as Augusta Magazine or Aiken Magazine and so on. And
I'm an author. I'm an author. I know.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
I love to write.
No, great. Well, that is great. It's so hard, and yet when it starts to flow, there's nothing like it. See, this is one of the biggest golf tournaments in the history of the world. The Ryder Cup at Kiowa, and there's my byline on that. So
Awesome.
yeah. So and I have 2 or 3 stories in this, and I have 2 or 3 stories in this, and I wrote this. There's my byline there.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot of great pictures in here, but the best picture is this one.
Cool.
So I just think that, well, I've got resumes that are written for magazine writers, and I just thought maybe just dropping these off and let people look through them and would be as effective as that, along with a card.
Okay.
Yeah, and
But you still want the front desk position?
yeah.
Okay.
I've actually I've done it 3 times before. I ran the Hotel Aiken 3 different times.
No, I think I know you from, because I used to work there 20 years ago.
Yeah, I worked there in the 90s. So
Early 2000s for me.
yeah. Forrest Tully was like one of my favorite subjects to write caricatures about,
Okay.
because he was nuts. But my sister worked for him, and so we knew Forrest all our lives. And just a couple of other things is, this is St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I'm very Irish. I'm like as Irish as you get, and Irish people and me. It's really easy for me to meet new people. So, and first thing I do is say hello, how are you doing, and then find out something about them so I can talk about them for a few minutes, and make sure we don't start off talking about me.
Right.
Yes. So I know everybody in this town. I used to know more because when I was doing these, I was on the beat downtown every day. So the mayor was my pal, and the city manager is still my pal. I knew the whole, but I still know most of the city council, most of the business people downtown, and so on. And I'm sure I'm forgetting something interesting, but one of the best things is I live at Conley Apartments, and if I'm late, I'll be here in 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah. Right.
Very useful, actually.
Yeah, right. You can come drag me away.
And I think we're also looking for a breakfast attendant, but don't quote me on that. So, like, there are places that will probably be able to put you.
Right.
But it's up to the manager,
Yeah.
of course.
Right.
And
I'm best used where I meet the most people. So, and I know how to do this. I mean, I don't know your system, of course, but that's something I can learn.
It's cumbersome at first. I feel your pain. I worked at Williston Villa Motor Inn for 5 years, and
Yeah.
it was all paper night audit.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this was a shock to the system, but I've learned night audit as well here.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but definitely, I have no authority to hire you,
All right.
but, I wanted to get your voice, and I'm very impressed by your presentation.
Well, just soon leave these if anybody wants to see them, but
Okay.
it's easy enough to look up where my bylines are. They're going to be in the, in the table of contents kind of pages. I don't know where this is, but I know I have a couple of good stories in here, and I have 2 or 3 stories in here, and 2 or 3 stories in here. And these are this is Aiken magazine. This is the magazine that grew out of this magazine.
Yes, I remember when Bella started.
Right, Kathy, she was one of my best buddies, so I went to a competition for this, Aiken and its sources, and the mayor and the publisher of this and a couple of other major leaguers of downtown Aiken and Augusta were in a room, and they had me come in and say, why should we choose you to be the author for our book? And because it was going to be about the steeplechase, because the Augusta Chronicle was going to underwrite the steeplechase. And I said, well, that'd be great. There's been some great steeplechase horses in here and great trainers. And that'll take about 8 pages to write that story, because there's the least numerous professional horses in Aiken.
Right.
So if you would just first start off with the Winter Colony and who they are.
Yes,
how
yes,
they
I
got-
actually read extensive history on that when I studied at Wilcox one night years
yeah?
ago.
Yeah, well, I'm applying it to Wilcox too. So
Okay, wonderful.
well, they're great. They're great friends. This is where I used to go by there all the time, and this is where I lived, right down the street. This is Gray's Circle.
Yes.
Yeah.